Good evening, and thank you for joining us as we honor the life and memory of the Honorable Elijah E. Cummings through the dedication of this space for learning, for civic engagement, for community building, and for the empowerment and enrichment of youth voices. I am Michelle Spencer. I'm the Associate Director of the Bloomberg American Health Initiative and a faculty member here at the school in the Department of Health Policy and Management. I want to acknowledge our Dean, Ellen McKenzie, our Vice Dean for Public Health Practice and Community Engagement, Dr. Josh Sharfstein, our Dean Emeritus, Dr. Sommer, and certainly Dr. Maya Rockymore Cummings. To our family, our guests, our dignitaries, and to all of you this afternoon, welcome as we honor the life and legacy of a hero, a giant, not just here at the school, not just in Baltimore, but across our country and across our nation. One of the things that I was thinking about as I was thinking, what do I say, not just what happened in the space here in the summer of 2019 on a Friday afternoon, but what do I say just in general? I can talk about what happened on that Friday evening, how dynamic it was, the powerful voices of our young adults, Congressman Cummings standing and sitting in this space, wanting to hear every single detail of every young person's life, not willing to leave until he understood what their journey was, what their goals were, not willing to leave or take a moment for a break until he heard all of their stories, until he was able to share and empower them and help encourage them on what the next step of their journey should be or could be. Not until he told his own story. Not until he shared his values, not until he shared what it was like coming up and what it was like getting the empowerment and the motivation from people around him. So I thought about all of that. And then I thought about the time that I met Congressman Cummings, not the first time, but it was in October of 2010. There was an event at the Frederick Lewis Museum, Maritime Museum in Baltimore. It was an event that was held really by one of our local nonprofit organizations here in Baltimore. And they too were celebrating young adults. And Congressman Cummings, he listened intently. And he said after, Michelle, do you have a moment? And I said, sure. And he says, what is it that you're looking to do? By this time, Dr. Sharfstein had already gone to the FDA, and I was still in Baltimore. And I said, I'm happy doing what I'm doing. And he says, I want you to call me, because every space that there's a young adult, I see you. So I called him, right? He gives me his number. He says, call him. So I call him. And the next day that I called him, he answers. And he says, who's this? I said, it's Michelle Spencer. You said to call me. And he said, yes, but I'm in the car with the president. And so I started laughing, and I said, well, Congressman Cummings, why did you answer? And he says, I answered because I told you to call. And I hope that each of us will take the call that's upon all of our individual lives, and that you will honor that call, and that you will honor Congressman Cummings in the way that you live, in the way that you lead, in the way that you think about who you are and who you want to be. Young elder, you know what he meant to you. Joni, you know what he meant to you. Each of you know. And I just hope that you will take this moment and use this space, not just as a space that bears his name, but as a space that bears his legacy, as a space that you are committed to uphold the truths and honor him as you honor yourselves. Thank you for the opportunity. And it is my great joy to introduce our Dean, Dr. Ellen McKenzie, who is a champion for all things Baltimore and certainly a bright light as we honor a bright light herself. Thank you.
Well, thanks. Thanks so very much, Michelle. Those are inspiring words, as they usually are, coming from your mouth. But it's a pleasure, a real pleasure to be with you all today, and a special welcome to those of you who are able to join us online. It's just fantastic to be here, and a particular honor to be joined by Maya and the members of the Cummings family. We so appreciate your being here and sharing this moment, this joyous moment with us. As everyone in this room knows, Congressman Cummings was a son of Baltimore, a civil rights hero, and a powerful voice for building a stronger, more equitable nation. And he was also part of the Bloomberg faculty, the Bloomberg School of Public Health faculty. As you can tell from Michelle's passionate story, the selection of this room is very special to us here at the school. Those of you who were here during Congressman Cummings' visit will never forget it. The young people especially were given such a gift during that meeting, where, as you very eloquently described, he just was there and intently listening to every word and showing the honor and the respect of you and what you do. It was just a magical moment, and I was not there, but I've heard this story over and over again. He kept being asked, he said, I really have to go, I really have to go. He was only supposed to be there for 15 minutes, and he ended up spending a couple of hours because he just could not pull himself away. Congressman Cummings was passionate about our mission here at the School of Public Health, visiting us often and serving as a frequent collaborator, and he frequently graced our events, either as a guest or a speaker, and he was a steadfast supporter of our community efforts. He also had a deep understanding of our work, of public health, and the ways that health and justice were so intertwined. And he was a natural teacher of public health. Beyond being a partner, he challenged us as well, not only working with us toward shared goals, but also encouraging our loftiest ambitions. Congressman Cummings called upon us all to improve our city, to respect people of all backgrounds in our work, and to honor young people and the power of their voices. And when we are planning our activities here at the school and thinking about the future, we must keep his message close to us. Now, as you know, Congressman Cummings spent years commuting from Washington, D.C. to West Baltimore. He loved the city, his home, and worked tirelessly to make it safer, healthier, and stronger. And he did the same for our state and our country. He made the world a better place and taught us how we could strive to do the same. We are so proud of this space that it will now be known as the Honorable Elijah E. Cummings Conference Room. It is a reminder to all of us of what he did for our school, our city, and our nation. It will remind us, too, that he encouraged countless people to work for health and social justice. The life and legacy of Congressman Cummings will be forever an inspiration to the Baltimore school community. I want to really thank you all for joining us here today, both here in this room and again, those of you who have joined us online. And we have a wonderful program to come with a chance to hear from people who were inspired by Congressman Cummings and who are doing extraordinary work in Baltimore and in Maryland. So to kick the program off, I would like to welcome Tamar Mendelson, Dr. Tamar Mendelson, who is a Bloomberg Professor of American Health here at the School of Public Health and Director of our Center for Adolescent Health. Tamar?
Hi, everyone. Thanks for that warm welcome. So I had the incredible privilege and honor of becoming director of the Center for Adolescent Health in 2018. The center has really become my community and my family here at Hopkins. And it's been a prevention research center for almost 30 years now. Our mission is to promote health equity and well-being for young people with a special focus on Baltimore City. We have long-standing partnerships in the Baltimore community, including with young people themselves. A vital part of the center family is our Youth Advisory Board, the YAB. The current version of the YAB, we have worked with young people for a very long time, but the current version came about through our partnership with the one and only Joni Hollifield, founder of the grassroots nonprofit, The Incredible Heart Smiles. And both Joni Hollifield and our community engagement specialist, Katrina Brooks, helped build and sustain an absolutely outstanding group of young people, our YAB. And these young people meet with us twice a month. They bring their intelligence, their passion, their talents to help shape all the work that we do. And we have learned so very much from them. And it happened that Congressman Cummings gave the keynote at the graduation for the Youth Works program over the summer. And you could see his love for young people and his just incredible interest and curiosity about their lives really shining through in his speech and his interactions on that day. And we invited him to come and visit the YAB. We had no idea if he would come. As it turned out, just a few days later, he did come. And as you've already heard, it was a really magical visit. And we knew that he was in pain and he wouldn't be able to stay long. But as he sat here, the mood was really incredible. It is an experience I will never forget in my life. It touched my heart. And he just shared his wisdom, his humor, his insights, and really his soul came through. He had such a soulful presence. And the young people in the room, many of them have lived through trauma and hardships. And he spoke to them as shining leaders. And he talked to them about turning pain into passion, into purpose. And the room was just filled with love and with connection. So I'm really honored to be able to be here tonight and participate in this. And I want to introduce now a brief video that we're going to show that highlights a special and powerful moment from that day on August 9th. And it features Congressman Cummings in conversation with our next guest, the amazing young elder, who is a member of the YAB and Heart Smiles. And young elder will after that perform an original spoken word piece. And then following young elder, we're going to have remarks by our Joni Hollifield. And so I hope that you enjoy all of these next pieces of the program. Thank you so much.
Young elder.
Yes, sir.
Young elder, let me tell you something. This is what, you know, remember I said a minute ago? Do the things that mean something to you. This means something to me. This means something to see our young people on a positive path, and to know that you are headed in a direction that is going to blow the minds of the world. It excites me. So remember what I said a minute ago, do what you believe in, and if you can get a job doing what you believe in, I mean, that is really good. And always remember, you will always do well.
All right, so it's going to be really difficult to follow that. But like he said, my name is Young Elder. I'm really excited to be here with you guys. Thank you so much for listening to what I have to say. I have an original piece. But I'm going to need your help with it. Can y'all help me? Okay, cool. So we know how much Elijah Cummings meant to this city. He was, in my eyes, I could see as a king, right? So when I point to you guys want to say King Cummings. All right, let's practice real quick. King Cummings. Oh, you guys did perfect. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to point to you. King Cummings. Got you. All right. King Cummings. Thank you for all of the blessings. King Cummings. I won't forget none of the lessons. King Cummings. See, you were such a blessing to me, and I'm going to tell you all about it while you're resting in peace. King Cummings. I hope to heaven treating you well, and you causing good trouble, giving them health. Hey, you was a fighter, power to the people, spent your lifetime helping us become equal. See, you was Baltimore, and Baltimore was you, full of hope for what we could do. We wasn't perfect, but you knew we was worth it. So when the storm came, it still couldn't hurt you. You said that I'm a light and I'ma always win. So even though you gone, you still with me in the end. You said that I'm the greatest and I'ma always make it, and that I'm not defined by no little piece of paper. See, little did you know, you were building my confidence. I was a sponge, even though it wasn't obvious. So they gon' know that King Cummings was here. Your footprint left an imprint right here. Thank you for all of the blessings. I won't forget none of the lessons. So you were such a blessing to me, so I'm going to tell you all about it while you're resting in peace. Thank you so much. Like I said, my name is Young Elder. I'm just a regular kid from Baltimore City. And Elijah Cummings took a chance on me, and I'm sorry, y'all. I'm really not trying to get emotional. But when you look out there and you see all of the pain and you see all of the hate that's going on, Elijah Cummings worked so hard to help us get through that, to help us work together. And it's not over. He built leaders like myself and every leader that you see in that picture. He touched all of us so that we can carry that and continue to let that light shine. So everybody in here has a responsibility to continue to let that light shine. So thank you. And next, I will be bringing up one of my personal heroes, Ms. Joni Hollifield. Thank you.
It's almost impossible to put into words what Congressman Cummings meant to Baltimore and beyond, what he meant to our communities, what he meant to me. The congressman was laser focused on the assignment of leaving footprints big enough to help shape a future he knew he wouldn't see. I remember that day on August 9th, 2019, right here in this room. Congressman Cummings told me that he could feel my love and my passion through the youth, and that he knew that they were going to change our city, change our world. What he didn't realize was that on that sunny August day, he was actually changing our worlds. He didn't come in here as a big shot U.S. congressman. He came in as a friend. He came in as a father, as a granddad, as a humble, wise servant, eager to pour love, courage, and hope into young leaders who have seen too much violence, have suffered too much pain at the hands of an unjust and unequal system that has spent decades breeding trauma-filled environments that even the strong can't survive. He changed minds about what was possible when you have the right mix of hard work and a great attitude. He changed hearts about what it meant to forgive, even when it's not deserved, and how we all stand on the shoulder of giants who were brave enough to make good trouble. Congressman Cummings stood as a symbol of hope, a beacon of light. His commitment to uplifting and empowering people in underserved communities is unmatched. Some people make ripples in the world, some make waves. Elijah Cummings created a tsunami. While there is still generations of work left to be done, Elijah Cummings has produced a deep, long-standing interference that threatens the existence of organized and funded poverty. Some people hated this man because they knew he couldn't be bought. They knew that his commitment was to the people and not to politics as usual. They knew that when he spoke, he was able to pierce the ears of the brokenhearted and penetrate the souls of the hopeless and the forgotten. They knew that when he showed up, that people would stand up and believe again. Congressman, if you're looking down on us now, hear me clearly. People are still standing for you. People are still filled with the hope and courage that you inspired. There's a whole generation walking in your footsteps while creating their own. Thank you for paving the way, for being fearless in your fight to protect those who can't always fight for themselves. Thank you for caring enough about our future to make early investments that would live beyond your time on this earth. You may be gone in the physical, but your spirit lives through us. It lives through so many who have been touched by your wonderful presence. I hope that what we're doing here today makes you proud, and that somewhere in heaven, you're able to sit back, look down, and take stock of the profound impact you've made on so many. Elijah Cummings, you've done too much for us, for Baltimore, for the world. So today, we do this for you. And now I have the humble honor of bringing up our Vice Dean, Mr. Dr. Josh Sharfstein.
Thank you, Joni. Wow, that was tremendous. And, you know, the feeling that we all have, the incredible moment that we have now, it brings me right back to August 9th, 2019, when Congressman Cummings sat with young people, listened to them, sat with us, and time basically stopped. It was a very special moment for all of us right then. And at that moment, we really was the origin of dedicating this room to him. In public health, we think about the impact on the individual, the impact on the community, the impact on the country. Congressman Cummings did all three. He had incredible impact on individuals, which you've heard about tonight. And so many people think about the impact he's had on them even today, every day. But I had the chance as the health commissioner of Baltimore to see the impact he had on the city, and also seeing the impact he had on the country. I'm just going to tell two very brief stories just to give you a sense. When I was in the city, we had a new insurance program called Medicare Part D for older adults to get prescription drug benefits. It was a little bit confusing when it came out. And Congressman Cummings and I went on a little tour to explain this program to people around the city. And the first place we went was a senior center, and everybody was eating. And I got up, and not a single person listened to me. Okay, I was trying to explain what they had to do, and it was like nobody was paying any attention. And then Congressman Cummings, he kind of like patted me a little bit, like don't be discouraged. And he stood up and looked out in the room, and he said, "What are you all eating?" And everybody stopped and looked at him. And someone said, "Chicken?" And he said, "What else? It doesn't look like it's just chicken on your plate." And they said, "Green beans?" And he said, "That looks pretty good." Nobody offered me any. And that moment he had them totally transfixed, and they listened to every word that he said. I've never seen anybody use his personality and humor so effectively to get people to listen. And he did that all across the city on so many issues throughout his career. But then one more story about the country. I remember pretty well when the Affordable Care Act launched, and you may know that not all of the exchanges went so well, right? It was kind of very, very difficult. It was very, very difficult in Maryland, right? The Maryland exchange, I like to say, was like a souffle that didn't lift on a train that was going off a cliff. Okay, it was a very serious problem, you know, and people were upset. People deserved to be upset. People were angry. I fielded many, many angry calls. Everybody was angry, except Congressman Cummings called me. And the first thing I said is, "I'm sorry." And he said, "How can I help? What can I do?" I said, "Look, the only thing that you could do would be to help us with paper applications." Michelle remembers this well. "Help us with paper applications until we can get the computers to work." And he came up to Baltimore multiple times and headlined multiple events to get thousands of people signed up for paper. He never said, you know, anything other than, "How can I help?" It was incredible. He was so devoted to getting that law to work. And when the time came for Maryland to fix the exchange, and we had some critical moments, he was the person who got it done, got the people in Washington to pay attention. It just like transcended everything else that was going on, his singular focus on what mattered for people in Baltimore, and not just Baltimore. So it is just an incredible honor to be part of that event in 2019, an incredible honor to be with you today, with his family and friends, to thank you for sharing him with us at the school, with the city, and with the country. And that brings me to the chance to introduce Maya Rockeymoore Cummings, his wife and now widow, who is a tremendous force for public health in her own right. I met Maya when she was at the Global Policy Solutions, I think, working on what I would say was very well before your time, thinking, well before its time, the concepts of social determinants of health and community mobilization around obesity. She'd also done tremendous work on aging, Social Security reform, many important aspects of policy and health. She has been an incredible friend to the school. It is, and to the field of public health. I kind of wish you were governor right now, but that's another story. But seriously, we so appreciate that you're here to celebrate this moment with us, Maya, and thank you so much for making some remarks.
So I just stopped by here to say thank you. On behalf of Elijah's family, his brother and his sister are here, and his cousin, and other cousins are here, so it's a wonderful thing to have them here with us. But I'm saying thank you to Johns Hopkins University, an institution that Elijah was supremely proud of. I mean, to have a world-class organization right here in Baltimore City was something that he was always proud of, and he was always a champion for all of the work that happened here at Johns Hopkins, but especially the School of Public Health. And certainly the work of the School of Public Health he was passionate about. As was mentioned already, he was always ready to participate in anything that was happening here. Every time you invited him, he came. And he definitely viewed this as something that was a positive benefit for the city of Baltimore, and certainly for all of the students and the lives that were touched through the programming here. But I gotta say this, Josh, he held you in high regard. So much so that when I actually launched the Leadership for Healthy Communities program, he actually recommended that I add you to my advisory board. He said that, Josh Sharfstein, that's one sharp guy. And certainly Josh was the public health, director here in the city of, commissioner here in the city of Baltimore, then went to the state, then went to the feds for a brief time before coming here to the School of Public Health. And every single step along the way, Elijah was a supporter. And so, I know that he's looking down right now and saying, and smiling and saying thank you. But to the young people, you were his passion. Do you hear me? You were his passion. And there is a reason why he came by here on August 9th and was only supposed to be here for 30 minutes and stayed for 3 hours. And it is because he felt your spirit. And he always used to say this, I feel your spirit. What people do not know about Elijah Cummings was that he was an empath. He had a gift, and that gift wasn't just the gift of giving back, which he always did, but it was the gift of feeling people deeply, and just feeling the spirit that you have. And the reason why he took time with every single one of you is because he felt you, and he wanted to get your essence and to give anything that he had within him, within his spirit, within his mind, within his heart, back to you. By that time, Elijah knew that he was on the last days of his life, and that he took the time to get it to you meant that he really wanted you to have whatever insight he could provide. And so I am so glad to hear that the spirit in that room that evening was one that was uplifting, that was one that was giving, that was one that probably gave more back to him than you received yourselves. See, because not only did he fill you, you fed him. You gave him an uplifting moment, something that wasn't happening much in August of 2019 when he was being attacked at the very highest levels of government, when the city of Baltimore was being attacked at the highest levels of government, and the people of Baltimore City were being disrespected, and Elijah himself was being disrespected and undermined. And so being in this space on that evening gave him a lot of joy. And so I just want to say thank you. Thank you to the Bloomberg School of Public Health for all you did to support Elijah in his life, that all you're doing to support him in his memory, and certainly all you will do as lights, taking that light and going out and make dark places better. You are the living legacy of Elijah Cummings. And he always said, our children are the living messages we send to a future we will never see. You are that future. You are that message. And I say thank you so much for loving Elijah because he loved you.
We're going to move on to the ribbon cutting part of the ceremony. But before I do that, first of all, thank you for those words. Incredible. And I have some really great news to share with everybody. And that is Maya is going to be, now I've got to get the title right, a Distinguished President's Research Fellow here at the university. And this was made possible through support from the university and President Daniels. But even more exciting, when President Daniels talked to Maya about this position, she selected the School of Public Health as her residence as a presidential fellow. So we're going to be seeing a lot more of you.
Yes, you are.
Yes, and we're just thrilled, and you're going to add so much to our lives, and I'm just thrilled to see that happen.
And I'm
So-
excited for it. So
yeah,
thank you so
yeah,
much.
it's
Thank
going to
you.
be fun. Great. All right, now the job at hand. So you get these scissors and
All
be
right.
very careful. They're big scissors. Yeah.
Just a second. Hold on, wait a second. Get everybody going here. Yeah.
All right, go for it.
All right, ready? We are cutting the ribbon.
So thank you for, before we break up, I just want to again thank everybody who's joined us online. It's a fantastic program, and we look forward to using this room in ways that Elijah would want us to use it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all for coming.